everyone, Abby here, Purple Cottage Crafts, and welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. A little bit different angle today and a different location. I am upstairs, not having the best day pain wise, so I thought what I would do, just so I could, check in with you guys and let you know, yes, I'm still here. Kind of share with you some projects that I'm working on. I guess WIPs, works in progress, and some things that are going to be coming up as like design team projects, and then some things I've been working on for quite some time in between other projects that will eventually be up for sale once I get them completed. So I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm checking the viewfinder here, make sure I'm still in frame. I have you balanced on top of a book, on top of my sewing box, on my bed with my little tripod. So hopefully I'm not going to shake this too much. Okay, just make sure. All right, so one of the first things I'm working on, and I prepared these things so I can bring them upstairs with me and work on without having to bring, like inks and just tons and tons of stuff. And I do have a section in our bedroom where a really cool old table where I kind of stack this stuff so it's, off the bed when it's, time to go to bed. So a couple journals I'm working on, and typically I don't show like this kind of stuff until I'm done, just because I just wouldn't think it would be of interest. But anyway, so these are a couple old vintage linens, linen napkins. Actually, it was a table runner and I cut it down. I gotta keep these separate because they are different sizes. So what I did, and these are just different sizes because, my purpose was not to make them matchy-matchy. So what I did is I sat up here and I just stitched some really nice linen that I got from Terra Textilia, and I'll be sure to link them below. I found them on Instagram, and I buy a lot of different textiles from her. I love it. And then I just did some hand stitching. My voice the volume might change, sorry, because I'm kind of leaning in to make sure I'm in frame here. It's hard to see. So that is going to be the cover, so to speak, of my, oops, wrong one. The cover of, now I don't remember. I can fix it after, Abby. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. So these are going to be like my covers, and these are going to be like a one signature, kind of like mini traveler's notebook style, but it's going to be a combination of papers and these fabrics, and all the fabrics are vintage with the exception of this interior linen piece here that I use just to kind of give it some backing. I'm going to be using some old laces, and these are actually, all but this are from Lisa Maddock with her Forge by Lisa, and I'll link her information below as well. I've been a subscriber to her monthly French vintage or just vintage linens kit that she has I think it's like a 6 months thing, 6 months, and then, there's like a break until she gets more. Anyway, all the information is on her website. But these are all, these are all some different vintage linens that are going to be used within those two journals there. And then I did bring up a little collection of some coffee dyed items, some parchment paper, some tags, and a couple envelopes. We'll see how much I want to actually incorporate. So that is one project that I am working on. Another one I started, this is just kind of, I think, just a little bit for fun. These are some hearts, and you can totally tell that I hand cut them because they're wonky, but I like that. They're not, things aren't perfect in this world, right? So I just cut some of these out, and I think what I'm going to do is do them together. I was just kind of testing to see which kind of closing stitch I wanted. If I wanted to do a blanket stitch, or if I wanted to do just a whip stitch or whatever. So this one's like my testing one. So I'm going to try different embroidery, different embroidery stitches and things like that, just to kind of see what I like. But that's kind of like my template or my sample. And then I'm still deciding if I want these to be like stuffed, like a little bit of stuffing in them. You could make like a little pin cushion or something if you wanted to, or if I want them to just be, little appliqued and stitched hearts that you can just have or whatever. So that's something I'm kind of working on in between, just for fun. This one is a current design team project for Tracy, and normally I don't show design team stuff until I'm done. But, sorry, I'm trying not to move on the bed too much. But this is from one of her latest kits, the Grungy Numbers and Letters. And I just printed out the numbers. And this is on some printable fabric because I wanted it to have a little bit of strength to it. So this is one size I did, and then I printed off in a larger size. So I'm making a set of tags. I'm going to be doing 2 sets of 5. So it'll be numbers 1 through 5 on one bundle of tags, and then another 1 through 5 on another bundle of tags. So I have 1, 4, and 6 done. No reason why those random numbers, but anyway, they're not done. Like, I still need to do my stitching like I did here. I'm going to do that around the holes I punched on all of the tags, just to give it 1, visual interest, 2, because I love to keep stitching, and 3, it gives it some strength as well when you put some string or whatever you want to put through this and tie it onto a package or use it in a journal, whatever. And I'm still deciding if I want to cover the back, because I think that I love the backs. You know, and are my stitches the cleanest? No. Do I carry over threads? Yup. Because sometimes I get lazy and I don't want to have to, you know, do a bunch of cuts and stuff. But I may cover them. I don't know. We'll see. But here they are. I won't show them too much detail because I'll wait for the video, but just to kind of show you. So that's something else I'm working on. I am that crazy person. I like to work on multiple things. I probably actually have about 15 things I'm working on, and I kind of bounce in between each one. Some of them are down in my room, but I can't show those to you because they're secret projects until I get them done. So this is one I started. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will have already seen a few pictures of this and posts of this. But this is just this is going to be a journal cover, a fabric journal cover. And I'm obviously not done because I'm just still stitching. These are some pieces that are going to go onto the front once I'm done. But right now, what I'm doing, I don't want to unthread my needle, is I'm just working on doing some stitching. Let me just poke this in here so I don't lose it on the bed. That would be a bad thing. Right now I'm just working on the composition with the fabric here. So I'm trying to, it's so hard for me to see because I'm turning my head sideways, so hopefully I'm in frame enough. But I'm just doing some seed stitching right there, which is fun to do. I love it. So just kind of doing some, random stitches throughout here just to give it some visual interest. And then again, another tactile textural element. And then this, of course, will go not this direction, but this will go on here in the bottom. So, and then I'll turn this into a journal as well. And I love how the stitching looks. I think it looks really cool. So I don't know, we'll see when I get to it if I decide I want to, cover the back or whatever. This is something I did just for fun. This is some paper I actually got from Amazon. And it's really fun. It's made to look old, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll try to remember to link the seller on Amazon if I can remember to do that. And I was just playing around with this. This isn't done yet. I'm just, messing around with doing some stitching on, onto fabric and different textiles onto paper. So I'm not quite sure what this is going to end up being. If it'll be like a wall art piece, if it'll be maybe the eventual cover on a journal. And, if I feel like, and, because I've made journals and tomes and stuff that are a little bit larger than this, but if I feel like it's too much, I can obviously, trim the paper down or whatever. So I just wanted to stitch. I just wanted to play. And I just wanted to play with some thread and fabric and paper. So this is kind of also where I get creative inspiration, where I'll start stitching on something or to start assembling something, and then it'll turn into a project or maybe a series of something. So this one here, this is actually these are some items I actually started almost a year ago when we went to go visit Jeff and Angie in Montana. These are some slow stitch tags that I was working on, and a couple other projects that I didn't finish yet because, Abby, squirrel, slow, get sidetracked. So these are more vintage linens, a combination of items that I purchased from, let me put this on this side just in case that my blanket is a little distracting with the items here. So it's a combination of vintage linens from Lisa Maddock, and then like this one is one I purchased from this amazing shop in Butte, and I will link the video I did of walking around his amazing vintage fabric quilt textile shop. It's just awesome. So these are some things that are just kind of a work in progress still. This one is going to be another journal cover. Some of these I have to think about when I look at them, because like this one here, I started this well over a year ago, probably even closer to a year and a half, if not 2 years ago. So it's obviously not done. It's still just kind of pieced together, but these are things I work on in between other projects when I get inspired to do so. This is a fabric journal I just did the stitching here. This is actually a vintage linen journal, I should say, because all of these items in here are vintage linen. So this will be something I can probably complete fairly soon because you already have it stitched together. I don't always want to have things that are like a complicated binding or necessarily, you know, anywhere from 4 to 8 signatures, or, you know, I like to create some items too that are a little bit more, I guess, simple, if I can say that. Because I just think it's just really pretty and fun, you know. So, and I'll just embellish just a little bit and just do some, you know, different things in here. So, but this, you know, again, this will be up, all these things will be up for sale eventually when I get them done. This was just, these are some of the tags. I have more than this. I'm not sure where the other ones are, but these are just some slow stitch tags that I was working on while I was visiting Miss Angie. And, trying to get that to stay there. So these I think are so pretty, and these are all vintage linens on here. Even some of the thread is vintage, not all of it, but some of it is. But I think it's just so pretty. So pretty. And there's not a lick of purple on here, but it doesn't matter. They're so pretty. So these are actually, I think, already ready to go, because I think I'm going to sell these in a set of 3. I need to find the rest of them because I kind of did more with the same kind of color palette and some coordinating vintage fabrics. So I need to find those before I decide for sure. But once I do, I mean, I know where they are. They're in my room in one of my mini project bags like this one. I just need to find them so I can remember exactly, because like I said, I was working on these quite a while ago. So, but there are some slow stitch tags there. And this goes with that. And this is just something I was just messing around with for fun to see if I like it. It's not, I'm loving how it's coming together. It's not quite done yet. But I just did, what I did is I did some die cuts of some of Timmy's Sizzix dies before I left. So I did tags, and I did some ATC size things, and then I did a couple of the little envelopes out of some different materials. And this is actually drop cloth canvas I got from Home Depot. So this is all hand stitching. And then I just did this here in the front, and then I'll do a little bit more embroidery work, probably and some stitching there. And then these are some little fabric ATCs that can be used in a journal. You can stitch them in, stitch them in if you want to. You can use them just as they are, pop them on a piece of paper or a tag. You can turn them into a brooch or whatever you want it to do with them. So little French knots, because I'm obsessed with those. And then there's that one. So this is just a little sampling of some things. I have more, like I said, I have more stitching things up here, but I can't quite get to them. Mostly embroidery, practicing, and, you know, just doing some different stitches and things like that in my different embroidery hoops. So I thought it might be kind of fun just to let you guys see what I'm working on currently. Partially, part of my projects, I should say, not all of them, because like I said, I have quite a few journals and different things in my craft room. That I obviously can't show you because I'm not down there right now. But I have some different vintage linen scraps. That's the thread I'm using for these projects here. So those will go back in there when I'm done. But I also thought I might show you guys kind of my current stitching setup. I've done a few videos before where I've shared with you how I have my stitchy setup, and like when I'm crafting upstairs or creating upstairs. Because, you know, my pain level is high, or, you know, I just don't feel like going down into my room that day, but I still want to be creative. So I think what I'll do is to, get this stuff kind of put off to where it needs to be, and then I'll bring everything in, because if I lean over to grab stuff, I'm afraid I'm going to topple the camera. So I will go ahead and clear this stuff off, and I hope you enjoyed looking at my little whips that I have going on right now, at least this collection of them. And I'll come back and we'll take a peek at what I'm my current setup when I'm working on specific projects. So I will see you in just a minute. Okay, so I did not tidy these up or my tray up or anything, because this is the real deal. This is how it looks when I'm actively working on, you know, some different stitchy projects and stuff. So I'll get to that one in a moment. So this here, oh, excuse me, the sun is kind of behind some clouds, so hopefully the lighting's not too weird right now. But anyway, this is just a little kids tray, that a little plate, divided plate that I got from Target pre-COVID. So it's been a little while. Oh, this I use to spread glue. To see you why there's a Q-tip on here, it's to spread glue. Anyway, and so I of course I had to get the lavender ones, and so I have a couple of these, and I love them because they're perfect for this kind of a purpose. So I just have some different things on here. My thread magic, a couple different vintage thread balls that I'm actively using, some no-sew because this is a great glue for me to use when I'm up here. Just some scraps of some different projects that I'm working on, and one of them I already showed you. It's that journal with this fabric on it. And then I have my marker here, my disappearing ink for when I do embroidery. And then here are the second set of numbers for the tags that I'm doing for Tracy for Design Team Projects. That's what's on there. And then this here has been great. This is something that I've had for like years, super, super long time. And I'll show you what it is. It is, make sure nothing's gonna fly off here. All the needles are poked in good. Perfect. This is one of those lap tables that you get from, you know, anywhere, Walmart, Amazon, I don't know. And oh, you can see my setup right there off the reflection. You can see me. Hi! Anyway, so this is one of those tables. And I use this when I do the coloring in here, when I do it upstairs. That's one of my things I do to help get me through my really rough pain times. So when I am ready to color again, then I will, you know, take this off, or, you know, at least take the needles out that I have on here, pins and stuff. But for the most part, I keep it like it is. And because it's great, because I can pin my projects, I can, all my threads, I'm trying to show you guys without making a big mess here with everything. So like my threads, because I have tons and tons of needles, I have my favorites, but I don't like to keep rethreading, you know, needles when I'm using multiple different colors of thread and whatnot for different projects. So I just stick them in here, line them up here, and then I just have these pins here that are tacking this, it's actually a vintage pillowcase, tacking it down on here so it stays, the, you know, so the pillowcase stays onto the little mat here. And I'll pull this up in case you want to see what the underside looks like. And it's squishy, and it doesn't hurt this at all that I poke needles in it. It's, you know, it's just fine. So that's what I use as my, I guess it's kind of like a combination stitching table and like a, you know, like quilters will have their, forgot, I can't remember the names off the top of my head, their design walls and stuff. So this is kind of like my little portable one. So a lot of times when I'm working on like those tags I was telling you about, I'll lay, you know, I'll do like lay all the different fabrics and things that I want to use on it, and then I'll kind of, you know, do like different layouts and whatnot to see what I like best. So this is something that is very invaluable to me. I use this except when I'm doing embroidery, because I have an embroidery hoop or I have an embroidery stand that I use, but I use this for almost every stitchy thing. I mean, like all the time. I love it. So this here is actually a TV tray that I kind of stole from the kitchen a couple of years ago and now use as my tray for when I'm upstairs. So this is how it looks for now, because I'm working on, you know, projects where I'm using this combination of threads and colors and fibers and whatnot. I have a video on this. It was a design team project. I'll link that below in case you want to see it. So what I have on here, this is just some beeswax. I need to actually cut it down to where it's a more manageable size for me to hold in my hand. I do use Thread Magic, which I love, but I like having options. And so what I have on here is just a collection of different things. These are some more of the tags that I'm going to be using for the second set of the grungy numbers for Tracy Fox. Those are there. And then I have just some fray check, which is awesome, a small bottle, just some different threads. I'm trying to look here. There's some different types of threads. I got Gutermann, I've got Zoology, which is, this is from Hobby Lobby. This I purchased on Amazon, I think. Superior Threads, that's the color in case you're interested. I'm not a huge, I don't worry about like writing the numbers of like when I, especially when I dismantle floss, I don't write the numbers down because that's not how I create with it. I know that when you're doing like embroidery projects, or like if you're doing like a kit or something, that has its purpose, and I get that. It's just for me, I'm just using what I want to use. I'm not trying to, now if I go to make some slow stitch kits and I'm using specific embroidery flosses or something, then yeah, of course I will, you know, include those in the kit or reference what I used in case you might want to use a different tone of, you know, black or grays or whatever. So anyway, those are things down the road. And then I just have a little assortment of some different fibers, vintage laces, different embroidery flosses here. This is some scrubby cotton and little bits of stuff here. And then I have some spindles of some tatting. This one, everything's kind of tangled. There's this one here. It's a vintage bit, and then here's some as well. And then I have another bit of it here in pink, and pinks and whites. And these are just some slow stitchy bookmarks I was working on. I'm not really happy with them, so I don't really want to show them to you because I don't really like them right now. So anyway, and then there's just some more vintage, you know, trims and different things like that. Some different scissors. I have, this is kind of a mess right here, this side. Oops, sorry, you guys can't even see. Let me move it up a little bit. Oh, I also have another thing of fray block. This is what I keep in my sewing box, which I'm currently using as a table for my tripod. So I have some different, like just some samplings of sari silk, different colors. Some I've coffee dyed, some I've not. Some of these bright colors you're looking at, it's because I'm doing an embroidery sample from, I wonder if I can reach it. No, I can't. I'll topple my camera over because of the bed. But I'm doing an embroidery sample from, oh my goodness. It's the Original Drop Cloth is the name of her shop and her Instagram. I'll link it below. But anyway, so I'm trying to break out of my normal color palette and color zone, and I'm just going to be using some of the bright fun colors that she uses in her embroidery samples because you know, why not? So that's why you're going to see some wild colors that I typically don't work with, but you know, just trying to stretch myself. And then these are some gorgeous hand-dyed amazing cotton flosses and threads that I got as part of the kits from Lisa Maddock. She does a collab with it's Cottage Garden Threads. I'll link them below too. Oh, here's another one I was working on. This one's not so bad. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, and then I have some of the scraps of fabric because I have, this is from, these are not from the current Vintage Fabrics subscription I'm doing. These are from actually a couple years ago, and I'm using these. And I did actually do a video where I'm showing you guys these little slow stitch kind of postcard panel things I'm working on. I'll link that video below as well in case you haven't seen it and if you're interested. So I just have those kind of just piled on here for now. And then I think that's pretty much it. Just some more scraps of fabric and things like that. Oh, this is something I'm working on. I haven't gotten back to it yet, but a little book there I'm going to do. So that's kind of what I have as far as the setup here. I do have a little bit more organized than this mess here. I just kind of one night was digging for something and I just kind of left it, but I didn't want to tidy it for this part of the video because this is really what it looks like. So, you know, but I am a little bit more organized as far as like I don't like let my thread from my spools like get tangled over there. That's just the way it is for right now, but I'll fix that before I start stitching again. So there are those items, and these are just some more buttons that came from Lisa. Vintage items, and everything that she sells in her, whether you do the subscription kits or whether you do just purchase straight from her shop, like different things, it's all like legit vintage, and it's items, they're items that she's forged, that she's found, hence her name. So, all right, now I have one more thing I want to show you, but I need to clear this stuff off first and grab it so I don't topple the camera over, and I'll be right back. Okay, so these I got from HSN. Oh, they're so pretty. These are actually coolers. I bought 2 packs of this, what they were selling. You got in the bundle, you got one of these coolers, these soft coolers, and then you got one, it's a long, like, I think it's 3 or 4 compartment organizer that you can put your bags of groceries and stuff in. I'll see if I can find them on HSN still and link it below, but I bought these when we first moved back, so that was like 2018 I think, so I'm not sure if you can still find them, but something similar. Anyway, so I use the 2 long tote things are in the back of my Tahoe, of course, because they're fantastic for when I go to the grocery store, because I can't stand my bags flying all over the back of the Tahoe. It just drives me nuts, so I'm so happy to have those. Plus they're purple. So I'm using the cooler for storage right now to bring stuff up here, so I'll kind of show you what I have. And I'm leaning back so I can make sure I'm in frame. In here I just have a sampling of just some, I think buttons. Yeah, some different vintage buttons and wood buttons in there. And I just kind of, in my room, when I am working on different projects, like say for example, I'm working on fall projects. I will go down in my room and I will restock this with, you know, the color palette and different materials I want to use. So when I bring it upstairs, I can, you know, have a good supply of things to work on. Now this isn't everything. I have more on my old table that I told you it's over there in the corner, but I won't show you that because it's a mess. These I just picked up at Dollar Tree yesterday, so those I just brought up here. Some of my lovely storage bags, just some different scraps for some different things I'm working on. Pardon, this isn't like a swear word, but you know, sorry about that. But this is something I picked up when we were in Montana at one of the little, you know, roadside touristy things. And I love these bags. I have other kinds and I love them. I just have a variety of some different flosses and ribbon and threads and stuff in here that I gathered to work on some of the projects I actually just showed you in earlier. I have several of these different containers that I use to collect my bags. Like, well, this one's in a plastic bag. I have some, like an old tin in my craft room or my downstairs room because I just keep all my different threads and everything for that, to be used in future projects. Here are just some more scraps. These are mostly from the Tracy Fox tags I'm working on, so I have those readily available so I can work on those. I have quite a few of these that I got from Walmart a while back. And here are my reading glasses, courtesy of Walgreens, because I need to go, and they're purple. Shocker. I love these things because, you know, I'm getting old and I have old eyes. So this goes between my room and my craft room or downstairs because I'm finding that I need to wear those readers for when I'm doing stitching, especially in the evening. So I will carry this back and forth with me. So my glasses, and I just keep a spare needle threader, and then I will take my Thread Magic and toss it in there too. And then I have a little pair of embroidery scissors, which are out on that tray that I just showed you. This one here is actually has, because I thought I would kind of finally start working on doing some slow stitch buttons and some just different textile buttons and stuff. And so I just have just a few of my little variety of buttons up here that I can mess with. I like to have a lot of different things that I can work on because I don't get bored, but I want to have options because I like that. Since I'm not down in my craft room proper, I can't just go to my upstairs room or my downstairs room and just grab something different. So I try to give myself some variety of things up here to work on. So what I have in here, and these are mostly specific to the current projects I'm working on. So like this back here, I have it kind of semi-organized. These are just like some different base fabrics for me. Some different linens, drop cloth canvas, vintage linen, some linen that's not vintage and it's new. I have some thicker canvas material, things like that. And then I have just a bit of some cotton fabric there to use. And try not to talk too loud since my face is close to the camera. Apologize if I am. And then I have like some vintage flour sack material. Then I'm not sure what this is called, but I love it. I got this at an antique mall type thing place, and I love it. I've got tons of it. I just love it so much. So I got that. And then this is, you know, this is by the yard. I got from, I believe, either Joann's or Hobby Lobby. And then here is some unbleached, this is a different type of cheesecloth that I bought on Amazon. I really like it. And then I wonder if I can try to organize myself a little bit better. There we go. All right, here, that's a little bit better. I have to prop it up with my one hand here, sorry. And then just, you know, this is some vintage, this is some vintage fabric that I purchased from Butte, Montana, from that same store I was telling you about. And then I just have, you can see here, this is some fabric that I'm using in that one little red work journal. I forgot to say that's what it was. I'm doing some red work. And then I have some different vintage, you know, linens and table runners and different bits like that, laces, different types of, you know, I've got hankies down here, just all kinds of different vintage textiles and fabrics and doilies and whatnots that I can use to cut apart to use in my many different stitching projects that I do upstairs. And this is something that I can easily take downstairs too and work on, you know, if I'm going to be watching some TV with my husband or whatever. So it's portable. I can take it up, you know, up and down. And then one last thing I wanted to share with you. Sorry, I know I'm probably shaking the bed. I will link the tutorial for this below because there's no reason for me to redo it because it's done perfectly by the lady that I actually learned about this from. It's called the Stitching Pillow, and it's supposed to be this shape. When I showed it to Steve at first, he was like, "Oh, that's nice," because I said it was a stitching pillow, and he's kind of like, oh, that's a kind of an interesting shape. I'm like, no, it's not supposed to be like a round couch pillow or square couch pillow or something. I said it's this shape because it's a stitching pillow. And I can't show you now how I use it on my lap because, you know, I've got my pajamas on. Nobody needs to see that. But I'll try to maybe insert a picture if I can remember before I edit the video to show you how I prop it on my lap. This is fantastic, you guys. I use this. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see the whole shape a little bit better. There we go. This is fantastic. I used this when we were driving to Montana and back. It saves your neck and it saves your back, and you're not like scrunched over as much. Now, if you aren't able to stitch or read while you're driving, makes you car sick, of course, this would not be something you would want to do, of course. I don't get car sick like that, so it doesn't bother me. And I chose to use 2 different fabrics because I just wanted to, because I think it's just fun. And so it's supposed to be this shape. It does have a handle, so you can carry it. I also will sometimes use this as a, now I don't stick like my unthreaded needles. I try to not even, because when I was visiting Angie, I was rethreading a needle for something and it sunk all the way in here, and I tried to push it out to the bottom and I couldn't, so I actually had to open this back up a little bit and fish it out, which is fine. It wasn't a big deal, but you know, lesson learned. If I'm stitching on here, I'll stick my threaded needle because I can, you know, grab the thread and pull it out, or the different, you know, glass top needles, things that have like a decorative top on it, so you can easily pull it out. But I really don't use this as a pin cushion, except for the current project I'm working on. So anyway, so here is my stitching pillow, and I love it. The way I like it best on my lap is when this strap here is kind of like here. So like this will be like my lap, like my stomach area right here. That is the most comfortable for me. I stitch on this side, why I don't know, it's just kind of conformed to that shape for me, and I really like it. So anyway, so Anna with Quilt Roadies, and then she also has a second channel called Stitch Roadies, and I will link both of her channels below as well as her Instagram, and then I'll also put a direct link to the tutorial for this in case you wanted to see how to make this. Now, I'm sure there are other videos out there in different types of stitching pillows, but this is the one I first saw, and I want to give props and a shout out and credit to Anna because she's the one where I learned it from, and she's a fellow Oregonian, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. So I think that's it, you guys. Just kind of wanted to catch you up on some projects I'm working on, and then kind of like my stitch setup for now for the current projects I'm working on. And then I'm going to be hopefully I'll feel like going into my craft room tomorrow, because I have some about 4 journals I'm working on that I can't show until I get them done, because I'm kind of testing out some new ways for me to do certain things, and so I kind of want to make that a, you know, I guess, I don't know, surprise. I don't know. I just want to wait till they're done. But I am actively working on multiple things at one time, and all of these things will eventually be up for sale. So if you're interested in purchasing further items from me, then you can kind of keep your eyes out for that. And I, of course, will always announce it on my channel, and then my channel first, and then my, you know, Instagram, and then once I finally get things into my Etsy shop. And the last journal I just made, Fill Notes, it sold before I could even get it listed into my Etsy shop. So thank you. And I had interest from others who were wanting to purchase it, but you know, it was first come first serve. So, but thank you guys for your interest. It always makes me feel really good knowing that there are people out in the world who like what I stitch and create and would like to own a piece of that. So, all right, I'm going to go, and make sure you check the description box below for all of the different links to the different things I mentioned and all that good stuff. Stay safe, stay healthy, my friends, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.